Hey folks, Quill18 here, and welcome back to some more Let's Learn Europa Universalis 4 as Castile, I suppose. Continuation of our guide for complete beginners. And when we left things off, we had declared war on Grenada. Tunis had joined in, and I said I was just going to go ahead and fast forward the gameplay until Grenada was willing to peace out. And that actually took a little bit longer than it was supposed to, because apparently no one let Portugal in on the plan of I'm just going to sit back and do nothing and wait, because they've been consistently going out over here with a small fleet of ships getting destroyed by the galleys. Also, they landed some troops in Tunis and got destroyed over there as well. As a result, if we look at the war scores down here, we can actually see Portugal losing quite a number of battles worth quite a lot of war score over against Tunis, which is too bad. 5 years have passed since the start of the war, and since we hold 100% of Grenada, it has triggered the thing where we have 100% war score at this point. What we can do is we can take a variety of things. We can't take anything over in Tunis because we don't control any of the territory over there. But right now, that's okay. We wouldn't have been interested in that because of something called a distant overseas penalty, which I don't think we're going to really get into at this point, so let's not worry about it. But we can go and grab all 3 provinces of Grenada, and that's only 37% war score, and now they're willing to do it because they are utterly defeated. We have a 100% war score, so we can ask for anything we want as long as we don't go above 100%, which is the hard limit. So we'll take all their provinces. We may as well take all their gold. Quite a lot of it over here, 188 gold coins. There are other things we could ask about over here, but if the country does not exist, there's really no way for us to form a treaty with them. It is worth noting that it may be better to vassalize Grenada instead of annexing their stuff. I'm going to annex them here, if nothing else, just because I want to demonstrate that, but I did want to point out that some people may be interested in having us vassalize Grenada instead of just eating all their territory. But I'm going to... Whoa, that did not work out the way I wanted. But I'm simply going to eat all their stuff and take all of their gold over here. So we're going to annex all 3 provinces, take some money. It is going to generate a little bit of inflation for us, which is what happens when you take money, but that's okay. We will suffer aggressive expansion. So over on the left-hand side, there's some interesting stats here. First, we will gain prestige. Secondly, it will not cost us any diplomatic power whatsoever to do this, which is great. I believe it's because we have claims on all the territory over here. I believe that's why it costs us no diplomatic power. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's true. I might be lying to you, though. Could be. Next, it's going to cause us to suffer between 1 and 37 aggressive expansion. So the base expansion, or aggressive expansion, is 15.4, and as we saw before, with some countries it might end up being higher. The Muslim countries in North Africa would be particularly high because they are close and share a religion, but then the further away you are, and if there's differences in religion, that will lower significantly. But what's important is it's not going to send anyone over 50, which means we don't have to worry about any coalitions, which is good. We're also going to suffer 27% overextension, and we'll see what that is in a moment. And it will cost us 248 administrative power. That's that icon. It's up here. 248 administrative power to core these provinces. We're going to find out what that is. We're going to send the demand, and we're just going to wait a day. They will have to accept. They've got no choice. So we are now at peace over here. There we go. Demand. That's exactly what we just did. So we now have all their territory. It is now completely colored in Castilian yellow. It is worth noting, though, that these provinces are not considered to be core parts of Castile yet. We have to spend administrative power putting up the right kind of flags, making sure we've got some government offices over there, setting up tax collectors, handing out government ID cards. I have no idea what's involved, but we will form cores in these provinces, at which point they will be properly integrated into Castile itself. So that's one thing. The other thing, you'll notice I had to rebuild some of my light ships because I was trying to save Portugal when it kept going and suiciding out, and turned out that mostly just cost me some of my own ships. So we have rebuilt that. Oh, we actually have a higher force limit than before. Why is that? Well, I mentioned that your force limit is based on the development contribution of all your provinces. We have 3 new provinces. They're all coastal, so it makes sense that we get a bit more force limit. Now, these provinces we've just got do have 40% autonomy. When you go and capture territory, there's actually a lot of things that can cause a province to have autonomy above 0. These currently have 40% autonomy, which means basically we get 40% less stuff from them. 40% less tax and less manpower and all those things is more or less the way that it comes out. Autonomy will drop over time. We can see it's going to go down by 0.1 each month. So we'll lose 1.2 autonomy per year. So it'll take, 30-ish years, something like that. I'm not mathing it, I'm just eyeballing it, to get rid of all the autonomy. There are ways to improve the rate at which this goes away, and in fact, anything that does tends to be very desirable if you're playing a conquest-oriented game. So that's fine. We don't really have to worry about the autonomy. We're a little bit more worried about the fact that there's 13.3 unrest over here. I mean, remember, if we're comparing, like, Seville had 0 unrest. Actually, it had negative 8.8 unrest, but now it's only negative 7.4. I mean, Sevilla is still fine, but why do we have more unrest than before? Well, it's because we still have some war exhaustion. Let's talk about war exhaustion first. In our country view, there is a little crown and a flag icon over here. This is the stability and expansion panel. And on here, it lists a few things that, well, affects the stability of your realm. For example, we have some amount of war exhaustion. You can pay Diplo power to reduce war exhaustion by 2, but right now we're less than 1, so that would be pretty silly. And as long as you're at peace, war exhaustion will go away. You can see it goes away by 0.1 per month, so in 7 months we'll get rid of all war exhaustion whatsoever. That's good. But we're also overextended. And that's where most of this difference in unrest is coming from. We're getting 1.35 unrest from overextension. So overextension, what is it? We actually had a little thing over here talking about the cores. Overextension is a ratio between your uncored provinces to cored provinces. Is more or less what it is. I mean, I'm pretty sure, I don't know how the math works out, actually. I haven't really looked into that. But the amount of overextension you get from taking land is dependent on how much land you take versus how big you are. So we have 27% right now, and that's leading to a lot of penalties. We get more national unrest. It's more expensive to improve our stability if we want. We get 27% less trade power abroad. That's crazy. So that does not affect our home node. Does not affect our home node. But if we take a look at Tunis over here, it does affect this considerably. We have a huge penalty to our trade power in these foreign nodes. Okay, so that could be annoying, especially later on when we actually have real trade power. Right now we don't really have trade power in Tunis or Safi, but later on we will have real trade power, and then that penalty will hurt a lot. What else does it do? Makes mercenaries more expensive. Okay, that's fine. Gives us a penalty to our diplomatic reputation. Diplomatic reputation helps convince the AI that they should ally us or marry us or do different things like that. And also gives us a penalty to some of our better relations over time modifier, which is a bit weird to explain right here. But basically, all this overextension is bad. So how do you get rid of overextension? Also, notice we have a rebel group forming. Grenadan separatists. They want independence for Grenada. Right now, they're at 0%, but they will build. In fact, the game is predicting that the next revolt will happen in 3.4 years. And this is a result of the unrest in these 3 provinces. So you can see Almeria, Grenada, see these have been renamed, and Gibraltar, come on, there we go, all have positive unrest. So if we look at Gibraltar over here, it's currently sitting at 11.5. And where's that from? War exhaustion, overextension. It's being brought down by legitimacy and our stability, which is good. Unrest is increased, actually everywhere in our kingdom, because of religious unity, or rather lack of religious unity. Our country is no longer 100% Catholic. It's, 95% Catholic and 5% Muslim, something of that nature. And that results in a little bit of unrest throughout your entire country. We have friendly troops in this province right now, which brings down the unrest. It gets brought down, I'm trying to remember what the cap is. Is the cap at 20 or 25 troops? I think you can go all the way up to a -5 from the friendly troops over here. So you can help to slow down unrest by parking some troops in there. But the big one is this, separatism. When you take a province from another nation, a province you didn't have core on, right? We didn't have a core on this territory. We only had a claim. By taking this province militaristically, we have separatists in the country that want to break away from us and recreate an independent Grenada. It starts at +15 unrest, which is huge. This does go away over time. Every month or every year, a little bit of will go away until it is completely gone, at which point things will be pretty stable here. Notice we also have 2.59 intolerance. That's because the religion in this province is Sunni, and of course nationally we are Catholic, so until these people get converted over to Catholic, that unrest is also going to stay. Once the separatism and the religion is resolved, this will become a very stable little province. Note, we really don't get any tax money from these guys at all. Why is it? Well, partially it's the intolerance, partially it's because we did loot the heck out of this province, but also, and also -40 from the local autonomy, but because we haven't cored, normally coring is worth 75% tax efficiency, so by not having this place cored, we're not getting anything out of it. So we really need to get these places cored so that we can get some tax dollars. Same thing with manpower. I don't think you get your full manpower until it is cored either. So let's start coring. We want to core because we want to eliminate overextension, which is really bad. Plus, once they're cored, we'll actually get tax dollars out of them. So how do you core? Well, you can do it from the province screen, right over here. So we can see what cores are here. Grenada still has a core here, even though Grenada doesn't exist, so it's grayed out. We have a claim on it, and Tlemcen has a claim on this province. We can hit this button here to make a core. It'll cost 138 administrative power and will take 16 months. Most people just core from this screen. If you hit this button, it's a shortcut to the stability and expansion screen. Note that normally it just shows you the rebel groups, but if you hit manage overextension, it shows you the 3 provinces, in this case, that we don't have cored and their cost. So there's never any reason, I'm not going to say never, 99% of the time, there's no reason not to core a province. You want to core all of them. I typically start by coring the more expensive ones if I don't have enough points for everything, but we do. We have plenty of points for everything. So I'm going to core all 3 things over here, and that will take X amount of time to complete, at which point they will be properly integrated in our country. I'm going to leave my troops here. Note, if you bring down your maintenance, they will no longer do rebel busting quite as effectively over here. And of course, if any rebels spawn here while you have no maintenance, you're going to have a bad time. So we're going to wait until that core's out. That's going to be fine. What other pop-ups we have here? This is a new one. You can invest in a new technology. So I actually let that sit around for a while. I could have gotten the military tech a little bit earlier before I started the video, but I wanted to be on screen for that. So we have enough points saved up that we can get a technology. You can see it's highlighted blue. This button is active. I can push the button. We're actually going to get a 5% discount on our military tech. Why is that? Well, that's because some of our neighbors already have this technology. So therefore, we're getting a discount because we can sort of like look over their shoulder and take notes from what they've done. So instead of paying 600 points, we're going to be paying 568. 5% discount, and technologies do get a bit cheaper over time. Well, no. Yes. No, they don't. They're not supposed to. I'm trying to remember the increase over time. I think the cost goes up, and then you counter it with ideas. It's interesting that it's negative now. Maybe it starts off negative and then goes up. Anyway, I'm actually not sure about the increase over time, but it's such a minor thing, it doesn't really come up much. So look, mostly we're going to save 5% from there. And you have no control over the increase over time, so just forget about it. By taking this technology, we're going to get 2 bonuses. We're going to get an extra 0.25 tactics. We only had 0.5 tactics. That's 50% more military tactics. Tactics mean fewer casualties in combat, which means you lose less morale. In addition to that, our land morale is getting a boost by 0.5. I think, well, our base morale was 3. Actually, our base morale is 2.5, but it was being modified so that we effectively had a morale of 2.95, I think, because of the extra modifiers. Well, here, we now have a maximum of 3.51. So we have more morale, which means more morale hit points again, but also we do more morale damage. I'm going to take all my ships over here and move them to these. Oh, if you hold control when you do a box select, it will select ships instead of, if you don't hold control, it will select ground units. So by selecting control, you do that. If there are no ground units in the way, like over here, you don't have to hit anything, it'll just select the troops. But if there's going to be a conflict, just hold control. So get everyone there and we'll start doing trading again. And that's that. Now note, we spent a ton of admin points starting this core. We are going to take ages before we can get our next administrative technology. Temples are pretty good. We actually would love to be able to build churches and get more tax modifiers everywhere. But more importantly, administrative technology is how you unlock idea groups. We have to get to administrative tech level 5 to unlock our first idea group. And ideas are over here. These idea groups do really, really potent things. And as Castile, there's a few ideas that are really, really, really core to our strategy. In particular, for example, if we want to play the expansion colonization game, we have to get exploration ideas. Exploration ideas. So only exploration ideas and expansion ideas over here give you colonists. You can see in exploration, you get a colonist here and here. And for expansion, you get 1 colonist over there. These are the only way. You need to use these ideas to get a colonist so that you can start colonizing the world. That is absolutely required. Furthermore, the exploration ideas at level 2 give you the ability to recruit explorers, and explorers allow you to explore the fog of war over here and discover new territory. Now, someone in the world is always going to be exploring this territory, and some people, I mean, certainly know about it. There is a spread mechanic for sort of knowledge of the world, and so even if you don't get exploration ideas, you will eventually see the entire world. That's going to happen. And if you're in a position, if you can't colonize early, and really only Portugal and Castile can colonize really early, if you can't colonize early, you may not need the exploration ideas, because by the time you can colonize anything, some of it will be auto-explored for you, so you might be fine with just expansion ideas and just take the colonists. Although, exploration ideas also give you more colonial range. Your colonial range increases over time automatically via improved diplomatic technology, right? So later in the game, everyone's going to be able to colonize really, 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 really quite far by virtue of having a lot of diplomatic technology. But early in the game, you really need that plus 50% range to get anywhere. So it would be nice if we could get our admin tech up a little bit. There's an expansion that does allow you to focus on one of your powers over here, so you might be able to get your admin a little bit faster. Even without that, though, we could spend some more money on a higher level admin person to get an extra point. That's true. By the way, Enrique over here, I didn't address it because I wanted to show a good general, but a good way to get your heir to die a little bit early is you can make either your king or your heir, or both, into generals. What's nice about this is it costs you no power points to create a general out of this character. And, holy crap, he would have had a siege bonus. Well, he has a siege bonus now. It is random. So it costs you no power points, and it doesn't count as a leader over here. So you can see we're still at 1 of 1 leaders. I got rid of the admiral at some point to save points. We only have 1 leader. He does not count in there. Neither does our king. If I go and make our king into a ruler as well, neither one of them count as a thing. And there is a chance that they will die in battle. And often that's bad. But in the case of a 0/0/0 heir, that's really good. Especially when he's actually that good at fighting. Like, I want to get in a lot of wars right now and hope that my heir dies. So, I mentioned that, yeah, okay, so we want administrative technology so that we can unlock an idea group. And probably the first idea group we'll unlock is exploration ideas, because I want to show off the colonization stuff. But coring eats a lot of admin points. So by taking territory in war and then coring it, we're delaying our administrative technology. So now the question is, what do we do next? Do we try to declare war against Aragon? Do we try to declare war against Morocco? I've actually been fabricating claims against here, just in case we want to do that. If we do those things, we can get great stuff. I mean, taking Tangiers, fantastic. That coastal center of trade is great. If we take bits in Aragon, we can move towards a military way of forming Spain, for example. All really good stuff, but doing all those things will require that we spend administrative power to core things, which means our colonization is that much more delayed. What is the right answer? There is no right answer. It really depends entirely on your gameplay preference and what strategy you decide to employ at any given time. For me, what I'm going to do in this game is I'm going to fast forward between videos here and get to the point where we can colonize. So I'm not going to play aggressively. I'm just going to sit tight here, sit on my hands, let the admin points accrue until we can get to the point where I can take an idea group, and that will be the next video. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep putting together trade. We'll worry about rebellions. Rebellions, there's not a whole lot to do, okay? They will tick up over time. If there's any unrest, they will increase over time. And sometimes, if they hit 100%, they will fire, and rebels will pop up in some or all of the provinces of that group, right? So all the provinces that have Grenadan separatists, some of them may spawn rebels. It might only pop in one province, they might pop in more than one. And then you just go and kill them. And most rebels are pretty weak. They're going to be weaker than the average army of your opposition. The rebels are based on your own personal stats, but usually with a slight penalty. So they're generally going to be close to your own troops, but slightly weaker. They do spawn with a general most of the time. Sometimes they get lucky and they get a really, really good general. And also, if they're sitting in the mountains like this, I mean, if you're fighting basically the mirror image of your troops, but you're fighting in the mountains, you are going to get a penalty. But I think we've got plenty of troops here to basically fight off whatever might happen. So that's going to be okay. There is a way you can, if you click handle them, you can spend military power to lower their progress. That's certainly a possibility. You could also boost stability. That's another way to handle it. Higher stability equals less national unrest, so that will reduce it. Once the overextension goes away, that will also lower how much unrest they're producing, which is good. You probably don't want to accept demands. If you click this right now, you would just free Grenada. Every now and again, that might be something you sort of kind of have to do. And certainly if the rebels, you know, kill your army and occupy all this stuff, eventually they will just enforce their demands, in which point you'll have no choice. We did finish oh! That's right, we finished the Reconquest. Beautiful. We completed our mission to take all this territory, which is giving us a massive boost to the morale of our armies and our manpower recovery speed. Just glorious. And we can take a new mission. And in fact, there's a great new mission over here. This mission is, again, relatively unique to Castile here. Spain must be Christian. If all provinces in the region of Iberia, so if no provinces in the region of Iberia is not Christian, or in other words, if all provinces in Iberia are Christian, then we will complete this mission. Well, yeah, that should work. If we go and convert, so what we have to do is we have to send missionaries and convert over all the Grenadian territory. If we complete that, Grenada will lose the cores on all 3 provinces, which will prevent Grenada from, like, basically these separatist issues from coming up. Also, if we ever lose a war, they can't just force us to give up Grenada. It's really good for the stability of our country, and it gives us a unified faith bonus, which is going to last for 10 years and further reduce unrest. I think that's probably fine. We also have a mission here to conquer Zaragoza, which I do want. But I'm probably, again, I'm going to play relatively passively for the purpose of the tutorial. I'm just going to fast forward time between episodes here until we can get to the colonial phase. Is that all my ships? No, I still have a few more arriving. I'm going to wait till they're all arrived. I lost a couple of transports. We only have 8, but it means I can get some more light ships. So I'm going to send them into Seville again to boost our trade power there. We're at 41% trade power now. We have extra territory. Wonderful stuff. And actually, it's before it counts our new ships. There you go, 47%. 47% of the pie is ours. Very nice. And that's only going to become better once everything gets cored, and our overextension goes away, and also if we unlock some buildings. We got an event! Torquemada and the conversion of the Moors. So we get a little bit of history about things, and expelling the Jews. Oh, what a lovely person. So we have 2 options here. Either way, that's a pretty big difference. Oh! Okay, option number 1 gives us, okay, when it says gives a skill 1 Inquisitor, that means there will be an extra advisor available for us to hire. But it doesn't, you don't automatically hire him or anything like that. He's 50% cheaper, which is nice, but that's not really important. The important part is the second bit. The religion in Almeria, Grenada, and Gibraltar would all instantly change to Catholic. Huge lifesaver. We don't have to send missionaries there to convert anyone. We can't convert anyone while coring is happening. We would have to wait for coring to finish, then we would have been able to send missionaries. This will instantly change the religion to Catholic in all 3 places. It will generate some unrest and reduce the tax and manpower modifier for 10 years. So there'll be unrest and more tax problems there for 10 years. But right now, we already have unrest from the religious differences, and actually, because of the intolerance, because of the religious mismatch, we already have fewer taxes, and we already have... Oh, does religious differences not actually affect manpower? Okay, just taxes. But we get less stuff already because of our intolerance. So this is almost going to mirror the problems we already have anyway, and it's going to save us a lot of time converting this. Not only that, we have a mission that will automatically succeed as soon as all those provinces are Christian. So yeah, the other option is pretty good though. It would actually reduce the Catholicism's reform desire, which would slow down the Protestant Reformation. It also gives us +1 stability, which is stupendously good. And would give us the religious tolerance modifier until our current king dies, which gives us another big bunch of bonuses. That is really tough to choose. +1 stability is gorgeous. But no, I'm going to go ahead and take this option. We'll instantly convert everything and instantly complete that mission. Boom. Wonderful. And we get to choose a new mission. Become papal controller. I mean, again, that's a really hard one for us to, like, force. Right now, we only have a 25% chance of doing it. I suppose I could take the mission and invest more points into doing it. But, I don't know. It's tricksy. Sure, I'll take it. Maybe we'll get lucky with the 25%. I won't invest any more points. Just a 1 in 4 chance of completing that mission. If someone else gets it, how old's the Pope? Pope is 70. Okay, so the Pope's due to die anytime now. So when he dies, we've got a chance that we might become the next papal controller. We'll see how it goes. Holy Roman Empire. Oh, yes. Ooh, Nassau. Really? So the Holy Roman Empire is basically Germany-ish. Germany plus a little bit more here and there. It's complicated. We're not going to go into any details here, but they have a really interesting sort of political system that goes on the HRE. Brilliant. Awesome fun. Great fun to play in here. It requires mastery of diplomacy and surprisingly little warfare. But yeah, that's going on. Also, let's take a look at the world status. France has been destroyed. Burgundy's taken bits of France. England has expanded their holdings in France. I don't think I've ever seen France self-destruct like this before. At all. Oh, an independent Armagnac. Now that's interesting. If I bordered them, I would potentially swoop in there, but I don't. Crazy. Bohemia's expanded a fair bit too. Poland has already taken some bits away from the Teutonic Order. They don't have Danzig yet, so there will be another war, because Poland wants Danzig, that's for sure. Muscovy's expanded relatively well, taking bites out of Novgorod, so it's starting to progress towards forming Russia. I think Sweden is unchanged, and you're still under Denmark. You haven't declared independence yet. Interesting. Ottomans have taken Constantinople, right over here. All right, well, that's the state of the world. Okay, so I'm going to put a cut in here, and like I said, when we come back, I will have advanced things enough so that we can start colonization and talk about those mechanics a wee bit. Thanks for watching, folks. See you next time.